Hello. So we're back with a quick video on how to kind of finish revising or sprucing up your graph. And also I'd like to show you how to either copy and paste it into a document. So if you're working in and writing up a lab report, you can actually copy and paste these directly into your Google Doc as well. So now that you have your graph is all done, you have a good title, you have a good, you've checked to make sure that you have axis labels, for both your Y and X axes. Um, you can play around if you wish with editing the colors of your different information. So if you would like to change, say, to an orange or another color, you can do that. One note about color is that you want to make sure that your graph maintains a good contrast so that the data stands out. For example, if I edited the chart area, or let's see, there's a way that you can change the background of your chart. If I made the background, say, like a dark purple, that's going to be really difficult to see the data. So you want to make sure that you have good contrast and then it's not something obnoxious to look at. So things like neon colors or things that really clash really make it difficult for your viewers to look at the good data that you have. So you want to make sure that it's something that stands out, but also is kind of easy on the eyes to read. So I don't know, I like this light purple. It's pretty nice. Something that I want to add though is I would like to add some data labels. So the data labels are an option under series within the customize. If you open up this series, you can see here that you have a couple options. The trend line isn't really relevant because of all these different bits of data. These are kind of different categories, so you can't actually really compare a trend line when you have different categories. So that's more for line graphs or kind of scatter graphs. But the data labels you can add. So the data labels put the number that you have for the value of each of your categories so that the viewer can see that value in the graph. I think this is really nice, especially when you have a wide range of data, because sometimes it's hard to tell, if, say, for example, for hemlock, if that is a value of 15 or if it's a value of 14, especially when you don't have kind of additional grid lines to help estimate. So it's a nice touch, not necessary, but it is a nice touch for you to do. If you had multiple colors or multiple values, you would want to make sure that you have a legend. We don't have one here because we're not comparing, say, different years worth of data, but that would be something that you would want to make sure that you can include, and you can, change around some of the position of the legend. Here, I'll show it just so you can see what it would look like. So you can play around, I think, with its positioning. Oops. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So you can't move it around yourself, but you can select different places. Let's see if there's anything else. Sometimes you might want to change around with or play around with the minimum and the maximum values for your vertical axis. This just the Google Sheets will automatically generate what your min and max are, but sometimes you might want to play around with that. For example, maybe I don't want my max value to be 50, so I might put it at 60, so from 0 to 60. The only thing is that, as you can see, it shifts around the scale of the graph, and so there's a lot more white space there. Because of that, you might want to also add some grid lines. So another menu option in Customize is this one called grid lines, and this would enable you to put in some additional grid lines. So we have our major grid lines and then our minor grid lines. These are the ones that appear between kind of the major grid lines. For example, this is for 20, 40, 60. So these are going by 20s. This value here has the, this is the number of grid lines between each one. So for example, if I want to put in 5, as you can see, it adds 5 lighter lines in between each major one, each darker line. So this doesn't look too bad. Once again, for style, you want to make sure that your graphs are not distracting or there's too much going on. I really encourage you to opt for very simple, very clean looking graphs. Again, you can play around with some of the personalization and customization that this offers, but you want to make sure that it's easy to read, it's eye-catching, and it clearly communicates your data, right? You want to make sure that your customizations aren't taking away from the data that you've worked so hard to collect. So I think I'm going to leave this with the major grid lines. So I feel like I am done with my graph, so I can close my chart editor. I want to show you, however, how to get your graph into the document that you're working on. So the graph will always be here with your data in your Google spreadsheet, but you are able to print. You can download the chart. You can download it as an image file. I would recommend if you wanted to do that, that downloads it onto your computer and then you can upload it as an image. Or you can simply copy the chart and paste it into your Word document. So let me show you how to do this. So here we have, yes, copy chart. So you're going to click on that. The chart has been copied. You then will go, well, let's see, I need to set up a new document. So I'm going to quickly go to Drive, create a new Google document. So here we go. I'll say this is my paleoclimate lab analysis. And obviously your lab analysis would have your name, some writing as well. But for this instance, here we are showing, so we've already copied our graph in the spreadsheet, and now we're going to paste it here. So when you go to paste, it has a couple of options. So I like to link my graphs that I paste into the spreadsheet, and this means that you can update the chart as you go along. So if you're writing your lab report and you realize, oh, I want to update my chart, you can click on the picture of your graph in your lab report and it'll take you directly to the graph document. So you don't have to hunt around then for the version and figure out which version you had and if it's been updated. So I like to link it to the spreadsheet. You don't have to. It's a choice, but I recommend it. And when you're ready, you go to paste. And there we have it. So here is our graph. And just like any other image, you can resize it. You can ask it to wrap text, so you can kind of freely move it around your page. And the writing that you have will kind of wrap around it. Okay. And if you see here, this is the linked chart options. So you do have the option to unlink it if you wish, or if you wish to open the source. So that's where I was saying, if you realize in writing your lab report, oh, I've made a typo or a mistake, I need to go back and edit my chart, go ahead and hit open source and it'll take you back to the spreadsheet where, as it's coming up, here we go. So here is our original graph. And so then you can do whatever revisions you need to in here. So let's say if I want to change my title again, it's actually not from soil sample A, but let's say soil sample B. Okay. That's strange. I actually just noticed the data's gone. But anywho, so here I have fixed that. I think, yeah, so if you come back here, it will detect that you've made a revision in your graph. And if you click the update, it will update the fact that I just, updated the title. But this is great if you realize once again that you have made a mistake in the data, you need to revise the chart in some way, clicking on the linked chart options to go back to the source and fixing it. Just make sure when you come back that you click the update to update to the new graph. Okay, so that is a rundown of how to revise a graph or edit your graph, and then also to copy it into a document that you're working in. So you'll be using this with the lab reports that we do for the rest of this year. So I hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching.